Hi there everyone, today I'm going to tie a popper, and this popper is going to be a Firetiger popper. Firetiger is probably one of the coolest colors there is around for big predatory fish. We're going to use some of this insanely awesome new Hedron big fly fiber in the color Firetiger. A very nice color. Definitely a bestseller in the future to come. This is truly awesome. So as you can see, I've made quite a big bundle of tying thread down here, and that is to ensure that when I tie this down, my big fly fiber here, then it has a sound base to absolutely hold everything in place. I'm just gonna cut off that portion there. So what I've done here is, as you can see, I've tied this down, but I've not tied it down very far up the hook shank, and this is because I need to fasten my hook correctly here. By the way, these Renset devices are just the best. Just had to say that. When I attach my head here, this is gonna be. I just want to make sure that I can see everything exactly where it should be and stuff like that. So that's why I'm gonna tie most of my fly on the part which is covered by thread now, because that means I will not have a too large bundle here for my popper head to come over later on. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna apply some lateral scales in gold. Gold is a nice color and a nice addition to this pattern in particular. I'm gonna take, let's say, 8 or so strands. Lateral scales is a very wide flesh, and it has a crinkled surface, which means it reflects light very great and a bit different from most other flesh. So when you use this lateral scales in combination with other flesh, you will have a fly that has an amazingly way of reflecting light. Yes, that is how I like it. So added some gold. Gold is a nice addition to most flies, I think. This lateral scale is something that I've grown so fond of, and you will as well once you've seen it in the water. That I use it practically on every single one of my pike flies now. So the lateral scale has been tied down. Later on, this is a bit too large, too long for a popper fly. So later on, I'm gonna trim this down so it's not gonna be completely as long. Well, next off, we're gonna have some fleshaboo in Firetiger, a mix of various colors of flesh. And this Firetiger combination, along with the rest of the stuff in this fly, is just, well, truly awesome. I'm gonna take this, making sure that these fibers are not completely uniform in length. Tying this down here, like this. And I'm gonna turn this over here. tie this down once more. As you can see again, I'm applying a lot of thread. And this combination of Flashaboo and big fly fiber on lateral scale will make this fly very move very nice in the water, especially when I add this next thing here. I'm gonna add some saddle feathers. This is a very nice. I've said very nice a lot, I think. This is a bit strange color, something you don't see every day. This is a yellow variant, but basically, if you can get your hands on any grizzly dyed yellow, you will have a winner, or a grizzly dyed orange for that matter. It's going to be cool as well. The important thing here when you use these feathers is to tie them down so they have the dull side of the feather, if that makes any sense, pointing outwards. Which means that the natural curve of these feathers will make them swing outwards. This will make them move a lot more freely in the water, and a lot more vivid. So I'm adding these one at a time, making sure that these are correctly placed. I could tie them in a bundle all at once, but that's not gonna be as beautiful or as efficient. I think that was 6 actually. 6 hackled feathers here in grizzly yellow. I love that. I'm gonna cut off all the leftover material here. So make sure that everything has been tied down exactly how you want it to be. What I'm gonna do to make sure that this is staying there, so I'm just gonna take a small amount of super glue, just glue on there, and then I'm gonna take one of these hackle stems here, just to rinse off any leftover, so then the next part of the fly I'm not gonna get everything stuck on there. So now it's time to measure, and as you can see, I have quite a lot of room before my popper head needs to be there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some tying thread, move a bit further up here along the hook shank here. Gonna make a sound base of tying thread, and then I'm gonna take a bigger bundle of Flashaboo in holographic Firetiger. And this is going to be kind of like my hackle here. This is also going to be the base for the popper head to rest on when I glue it in a second. So again, pulling this out. Did I fasten this correctly? Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this down approximately halfway. I'm going to make sure that the flesh is going to go all the way around the hook here, like this. I'm going to tie a bit further up the shank, a bit further down here. I can see I have some flesh strands here who has been caught in the middle of all of this. As you can see now, this will cover some of the left of the fly here. And then I'm going to turn this over like so. There. And then to add some more effect here, I'm just going to take some rubber legs. I'm going to take 6, I think, here. I'm gonna tie these down. So they're gonna hang here, looking awesome. Let's see where that is going with my popper head. That looks fairly nice. Then I'm gonna take my popper head here, and I'm gonna expand the hole in the back of this head to make sure it will fit over everything here. Just gonna check if that is gonna work. That is going to work. I think actually this looks a bit too thin down here. And I'm gonna do a nice cool trick that is nice to know if you're ever having problems like mine here. What you can do is you can do one of numerous things, but one of the nicest tricks you can do is just if you think that the stuff is not going completely as you want it to. There is a trick you can do to cover up almost any slip-ups in tying pike flies. I'm gonna show you one of those now. It's just basically to take a marabou hackle, take a marabou feather and make it into a hackle, because that will kind of like just fill any gap that you have and stuff like that. It's gonna look good. So, taking my marabou hackle here. I'm gonna do this in chartreuse. You could do it in yellow, something like that. That also. This is definitely not my day today. So I'm gonna tie this marabou hackle down here. Just gonna turn this over and tying it down again. Doesn't matter. Let me just see here. Yeah, I need a few turns of this. Without my rubber legs getting in the way. That would be nice. And as you can see, this automatically and instantaneously adds a lot of bulk and a lot of volume to the fly. And the problem I had was that my fly was not completely bulky enough. It had kind of like a bit thin, bit shabby looking middle section here. And with this marabou hackle now, it ta-da! It doesn't have that anymore. It doesn't appear to have that anymore. And what you will get now is a very cool and a perfect looking transition between your popper head and the rest of the fly. So just to be sure that this is nice and expanded enough, I'm just gonna give it one more. And if you want to do, you can do that in the other end of the head as well, just to make sure. You can see I cut myself on the hook. It's nice and sharp, these universal predators from Partridge. They are nice hooks. Like so. Good. Gonna leave it there. Make my whip finish. As I said, these marabou hackle, I just jammed the heated up dubbing needle all the way across the popper head here. Added the threader. Then I'm going to take some more rubber legs. 4 or something like that will be sufficient. One, two, three. Need one more. putting these in the dubbing needle. Putting them through the head. And then you can simply just say, okay, how exactly long do I want these? I want mine a bit longer than this, so I'm just gonna add a bit of glue here. And when I pull this inside the head now, this will make sure that that the the legs here is gonna last a bit longer than than they otherwise would. Of course, pike teeth are pretty nasty to almost any material, so they will die eventually, but they will stay on there a bit longer now. There you have it, the Firetiger popper. Firetiger, awesome colors. Well, those were the words. Thank you for tuning in.